again that the youth exchange program is something that Rotary International does really well. And the reason why Rotary International does youth exchange really well is because of people like Don Millen. Don has been our outbound coordinator for years. You know, we've sort of both lost track of how long we've been involved in this thing. But it's time for Don's tenure as outbound coordinator is coming to a close. And I really wanted the club to understand all that he has done for the club behind the scenes over these years, because you just wouldn't know it, because so much goes on outside of our meetings. Don has been to countless high school assemblies of students to promote the program and get students interested. He's the one who has fielded the emails and the phone calls from the kids who think they may be interested. He's the one who has held the hands of the nervous parents who aren't quite sure they want their kid going overseas. Don has done so much for years, and we just want to recognize him and thank him for his service as outbound coordinator. And so please give Don a hand. And just a little token of our appreciation from Charlotte Rotary.
Right.
Lisa and Chrissy, you come forward.
Good afternoon. This is Chrissy Wagner. She's our incoming student from Germany who has spent this year at Myers Park High School. I was just asked to say a few words to introduce her, which is a little bit of a challenge because I'd like to talk all day. Chrissy has been so very easy to love, and I'm going to miss her terribly when she goes back to Germany. She has taught me so many things this year. She has taught me about conservation in a way I never looked at it before, world politics in a way I never looked at it before, and definitely how to appreciate everything that we have, especially family. And I'm proud to say that I taught her how to say, hey y'all. This is Chrissy Wagner.
All right, I was actually about to start my speech with, hey y'all. So, thank you for letting me share my experience as a Rotary Exchange student today. My name is Chrissy Wagner, and I'm 16 years old. I was born and raised in a 1,500 people village in southern Germany, but if I told you the name of my village, I'm pretty sure that no one recognizes the name. So that's why I usually tell people that I live on the Swiss border, and in fact, I can see Switzerland from my window, and Zurich is about 20 minutes away from my house. I have 3 little sisters of the ages of 15, 13, and 6, and my family owns a grocery store, which is run by my dad, Richard, and my mom, Gada, currently stays at home. Ever since I was little, it was my dream to become an exchange student, and I decided to go to the US because I wanted to get to know the country better that I've only known from Hollywood movies so far, and I was just curious how the behind-the-scenes life was. For most Europeans, the United States are simply New York City and California, and the 40-something states in between don't exist. I have to admit that I've never heard of Charlotte, North Carolina before either, when I found out in March last year that the Queen City was going to be my new home. When I arrived in Charlotte in August, I was excited and fascinated. The first few weeks were a little overwhelming though, because everything from cars to roads to stores is so much bigger than in Europe. The first time I went to South Park Mall, I was beyond excited about the variety of stores and also the prices. Most things, but especially clothing, is so much cheaper in the United States, which makes it a true shopping paradise. One other thing I had to get used to was that cars are the main transportation method. Since I can't drive, I'm always reliable on someone driving me, which can be really frustrating. At home, I usually take public transportation or I ride my bike to get places, which isn't possible here, unfortunately. I also had to get used to that dinner was the main meal. In Germany, we have a big warm lunch, and we only eat snacks or sandwiches at night. We also don't go out for lunch as frequently as Americans do. And biscuits and bagels probably became my favorite American food. I always tell people how glad I am to live in Charlotte. The city is very green, and besides uptown, Charlotte doesn't feel like a big city with all the different neighborhoods and areas. A big plus as well is the weather. I enjoy being able to walk around in a t-shirt in November, and the sun shines most of the time, which is a nice change to the cloudy sky in Germany. High school was one of the parts I was really looking forward to. Myers Park didn't exactly turn out to be like High School Musical, but I still liked it a lot. At first, I was intimidated by the size of Myers Park High School, considering that it is twice as big as my village, but I quickly figured out where my classes were and how to get where. Germany has 3 different kinds of high school, which means that standard, honors, and AP IB level classes are taught at different schools. I attend the AP IB level school, and of the 1,000 students that go to my school, 98% are white. Myers Park, on the other side, has students with all different kinds of ethical backgrounds, which I find cool because I didn't know any colored people before I got here. I feel like school here is way more regulated and stricter when it comes to attendance, but then on the other side, the classes are easier because tests are almost all multiple choice and can be retaken. I wish that schools would stress more language education though, because it benefits you enormously to speak more than one language. I personally started to learn English when I was 4, but usually kids in Germany start English classes in 1st grade. When I got here, I've already been studying English for over 12 years, and my language skills were good, but they have improved so much over the last few months. Around Christmas, I realized that I could completely understand an English song for the first time. In Europe, we mostly listen to American music, but I always only understood half of it. These little moments when I realized how much my English improved make me really happy. I think in German English, and the only thing that is still easier for me in German is math and counting, but I don't know why. One of the biggest concerns to me was to make friends, which turned out to be not a problem at all. Once I started to talk to people, I experienced American teenagers as open, friendly, and interested people. I usually meet my friends on the weekends, and we like to go to restaurants, the movies, the mall, or just hang out at someone's house. One of the other major reasons I'm having such a good time are my host families. I've lived with 3 great families, all of whom welcomed me warmly and made me feel home. I'm so grateful for all the things these people have done for me and really appreciate the patience and help I received. The first 2 months, I lived with the Malazzo family. Not only did they expose me to donuts, we also did a lot of fun activities. Together with Brandy, my host mom, I went to Charleston, which I really enjoyed. I like the city a lot because of its beautiful buildings and the rich history, and I have to admit that the food is pretty good too. I celebrated my first Thanksgiving with my second host family, the Frames, on the farm in South Carolina where we met family and had the traditional turkey dinner. I was really excited to live with the Frames because I had a sister, Caroline, who was my age, and she soon became a really close friend too. We had a wonderful Christmas, and I wasn't even homesick because I felt so much at home at their house. It was really interesting to see how Americans celebrate Christmas because in Germany we celebrate it slightly different. We open our gifts on Christmas Eve, and they aren't brought by Santa, but by an angel-like creature called Christkind. After Christmas, we went on college visits, and I got to see UNC Chapel Hill as well as Clemson. Even though I like the campuses a lot, I plan on going to college in either Germany or Sweden. Another highlight during my exchange year was a field trip to the Biltmore House. I was very impressed by the size of the property and the nice interior design. Rotary also organizes trip events for the exchange students throughout the year. In the very beginning, they offered an orientation in the mountains where we got to know each other and they gave us helpful advice for our year. In October, we all went to the Whitewater Rafting Center where we spent the day doing rope courses and rafting. In January, they offered a ski trip, which I unfortunately missed because I went to the Sadie Hawkins dance. The dance was a lot of fun, and I like how the school is more than just a place to study in the US. In Germany, we leave school right after the bell rings, and we join clubs and sport teams individually in our home villages or towns. During the fall, I enjoyed going to football games because it's just a great way to socialize and meet new people. And watching school sports is also a great way for me to get to know new sports because soccer is the dominating sport in Europe and lacrosse, baseball, or football do not exist whatsoever. Just in time for spring, I moved in with the Owens family. It never gets boring at their house, and I enjoy having 3 little brothers since I'm used to 3 little sisters. The boys make me laugh all the time, and I'm looking forward to spend my last 2 months with them. I haven't been to many places in the US besides Oregon and Portland. That's why I'm excited to go to New York City and Washington, D.C. together with my family who comes over from Germany in 2 days. In June, I'm going to the West Coast, which is the trip offered by Rotary for Rotary Exchange students in the United States. Rotary Youth Exchange has truly changed my life. It opened my eyes for all the possibilities life brings, and it taught me that we are all the same if you take the difference in language and culture away. Some of the stereotypes I had in my head before I got here came true, but all in all, I experienced Americans as very kind and helpful people. I'm so grateful for Rotary who made my dream come true. The Youth Exchange is a great way to make the world a little better by improving cultural understanding. It also connects students all over the world, and I'm so happy to say that no matter whether I go to Barcelona or Paris, I have friends to meet. At this point, I also want to say thank you to Lisa Mass, my counselor. Lisa, you're awesome, and thank you so much for everything you've done for me. Thank you for letting me share my experience today, and I hope you have a good rest of the day.